Hi, you're welcome to day 2 of our ML project. Now, being in this class or watching from my YouTube channel, you're welcome. So today we'll be looking at understanding the importance of EDA. And EDA simply means Exploratory Data Analysis, which is just the key concept in machine learning pipelines. So permit me as I take you through the slide. First, we'll be looking at the learning outcomes. Our learning outcome 1 will be understanding the importance of EDA in AI pipelines and its impact on model performance. And next is to identify the key terminologies which are relevant to EDA and its application in data science and ML. 3 is to explore the data sets which we'll be using in this ML project, titled The Household Power Consumption, and learning how to interpret its structure and content. And 4 is to learn the techniques for loading data with pandas and performing initial inspections to assess the data quality. Now, the next thing I want you to know is what role does EDA play in improving machine learning models? Now, we are looking at the significance and also the impact. Now, in the significance, we are looking at the significance of EDA. Also, we are looking at the impact on data-driven decision making. Now, first, let's cover the definition of EDA. Now, when we talk about EDA, what should come to your mind is looking at it as a systematic approach in summarizing a data set based on the features, or also known as the characteristics, often using visual method or approach before applying them to your ML model. Next thing is, we also see EDA as the detective work of data science, which involve descriptive statistics, visualization, and data quality checks that helps you form hypotheses, spot anomalies, and choose appropriate modeling techniques. Now, let's go to the key methodologies. Now, we'll look at the term and look at the definition. Now, first, sometimes you hear people say feature or variable or characteristics. They are all the same. What does it mean? It generally means a measurable properties or variable used as inputs to a model. And next, you must have heard, or maybe this is your first time hearing, observation or record. Now, consider looking at a table that contains row and column. Now, if you pick the row, that tells you observation or record. For instance, if it's a medical data set, that row, for example, a patient, it tells you the medical health of each patient. Now, in this case, we say that it is a single row of data representing one measurement instance. And next we have is the missing value, also known or given non-value. Or you could see the symbol as a question mark. Now that tells us undefined or unrecorded data points. And next we have outliers. Now this is just data points that deviate markedly from other observations. Now we have summary statistics, which covers numbers of the calculation for the mean, median, standard deviation, variance, and so on, which help to capture the data characteristics of a distribution. Now, in this our data sets we're using, we also need to talk about time series, which is just a sequence of data points indexed in chronological order. Now, resampling, which helps to aggregate the time series data to a new frequency. Now, for example, moving from hourly to daily. Now, we have the z-score, which is the standardized score showing how many standard deviation a value is from the mean and minimum. So, in case if you come across other terminology, you could also look out there and you'll come across more. But I just want to mention just a few. Now, the next thing we have in our slide is to explore the dataset. Now, the dataset we'll be using we will get that from public available source, which is Kaggle. And when you go to Kaggle, www.kaggle.com, you just type household power consumption, and then you will see the dataset. Now, this is the dataset you're going to see, but the name written here. Now, this dataset provides a comprehensive look into daily consumption of energy over a particular period of time, and it helps to capture critical insights for analysis in various contexts. Now, capturing the essence of data handling with pandas. Now, in our day one, we talked about pandas as one of the libraries we have installed. So please, if you want to learn about pandas, look out on the day one lecture, and you'll be able to see more explanation there and the official link which I provided during the class. Now, the next thing we have here is initial data inspection, analyzing insights for effective EDA. Now, we have to look at first the initial data inspection and why it is necessary. It is very important in understanding your data set. So for you to understand your data set, you need to use certain methods such as info or describe. You could also check with both methods. Now, using those methods, you'll be able to gain insight into data structures, the types, and the statistical distribution, enabling you to make informed decisions in your EDA process. Now, don't worry, I'm going to show you the code with the data sets and what the result looks like using this method. So this is just the lecture. After the lecture, I'll go over to the seminar where we are going to lay our hands on coding. Now, we want to talk about loading the data sets with pandas. Now, when we want to load the data sets with pandas, all we need to do is to work with the given data set, which is publicly available. And this data set records active power, voltage, and submeters reading at 1 minute intervals. Now, I'm also going to share you the link for the data sets, and you're going to see more information from the site on the description of the data sets. Now, let's go on the field characteristics. We have the delimiter. Now, if you look at the data set, it has commas, the semicolon, which separates the informations. Now, we also have missing token, which is being symbolized with a question mark. And then if you go through that data set, you'll see about 9 columns, which are date, time, the global active power, the global reactive power, voltage, global intensity, and submeter 1, submeter 2, and submeter 3. So that's a total of 9 columns. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, maybe you've been wondering why these parameters. Now, for the first one I want to talk about, which is the past dates. Now, what is the importance of this? This helps us to merge data and time into a single data time index. So instead of just having 2 separate columns, we are just merging, or we use the word concatenate. So we are concatenating the date and time together, and we could give it a variable name, a variable named data type. Okay, so this is essential. This is an essential art for resampling. Now we have also this one, none_values. Now this helps to convert our question mark, which shows there is a missing value, to none for easy numerical operation. Now we have low memory. Now this helps us to avoid data guessing problems on large files. Now the next thing we want to look at is comparing missing values handling techniques. Now we are looking at imputation and deletion. Now when we talk about imputation, this is like you are having a missing value and you're trying to put a value based on some statistical method. Now I'm going to show you what I mean by that during our seminar period. Now, and I'll also tell you when you should use imputation and also when you should consider deletion. So let's proceed. Now, you should take note that if you're using imputation or if you're considering deletion, both method helps to maintain data integrity and also the quality of the data. So, and the analytical validity of such data. So both methods are very essential during our data processing. Now, deletion is another method that helps to remove the record or that cell with, or in fact, the column or the row with missing values, and which can lead to data loss. Now, let's take for an instance. If we have a data set that contains 100 rows, and let's say we have about 50 missing values, it means that if you take out 50 from 100, you're left with just 50 rows. That will be quite poor for your machine learning work. So in that case, you will not consider deletion method. You have to opt for imputation method. But for instance, if your missing values is said to be just 2 rows out of 100, definitely you could consider deletion method because it's not going to have significant effect on the performance of the model. I hope you understand. Now, the next thing we want to look at, in all, the imputation and the deletion method illustrates the key difference between imputation methods and deletion methods in handling missing values. So both methods tells us about handling missing values. And remember, your data set processing is very important because it's either going to give us a good performance or it's going to mar the performance of the model during training. Now let's see another one. What are your preferred methods for handling missing values in datasets? Now, could it be imputation techniques, deletion, mid or media, and more? Also, exploring the impact of outlier detection methods. So you could have a deep research about these methods, okay? Now, understanding methods for handling missing values. So let's dive into imputation techniques. Now, we are going to explore various strategies to improve your data set. Now, consider the imputation techniques for missing values. Now, imputation techniques such as deletion, mid or media, impute, and forward field are essential for effective data analysis. So, understanding this method ensures robust data sets for accurate ML models or frameworks. Now, outline detection method, either you're using the Z-score or the IQR techniques. Now, for this one, it's also crucial for data quality. Now, you should remember that the Z-score method identifies data points that deviate significantly from the mean, whereas the IQR method calculates outliers based on the interquartile range. So both techniques help in maintaining the data integrity of ML models by filtering out anomalous data points. That means data points that are not important. Okay, so let's go to the next one, which is visual exploration enhances, you could say improves understanding of data distribution, and help identify key insights. Now, resampling techniques such as hourly and daily resampling allows analysts to convert time series data into various frequency. This method helps identify patterns and seasonal trends. Now, this tells us on how you can understand resampling and seasonality in data analysis. Now, understanding the combined EDA workflow for effective analysis. Now, this illustrates the key components and their respective connections in EDA process. Now, we're looking at the data cleaning techniques and the methodologies and staying focused on enhancing data insights and accuracy. Now, we are also looking at visualization tools and techniques for deeper understanding. Now, engage with this hands-on exercise to improve your understanding of EDA techniques. Now, let's continue diving in more. Let's continue exploring EDA together and uncover valuable insights through data analysis. So, thank you for your attention and look forward to watching my next video on the practical aspects of EDA. So you'll see. Thank you for watching. I'm signing off now. Bye. Lastly, just to add more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and to share with a friend or family. Bye for now.